xTool has just launched their F2 Ultra, which they're advertising as the world's first 60-watt MOPA and 40-watt diode, all in one pretty nice looking package. Hey guys, my name is Sam and welcome back to Samcraft. That's right, I've got the xTool F2 Ultra machine here in the shop and I want to bring you guys along to give you a primer and overview of the machine. Don't worry, that will be short. And then we're going to jump into some projects and see how well this machine performs on a wide variety of tasks that specifically relate to the MOPA aspect. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Disclaimer time, xTool did provide this machine to me to make content for. They do have some certain things they want me to say. That will all be covered here shortly. And once that is out of the way, we're going to get to the meat and taters of my video. Now, while xTool did provide the machine, they in no way dictated what I do or don't say. This video is not being sent to them for review or approval or anything like that. So this honestly is Sam's 100% opinion and my experiences so far with the machine. I think it's very important to be upfront and honest so that you know my position on what I'm about to present, so that it enables you as a prospective customer to know whether you should or should not buy this and to have a better understanding as far as what information you're about to listen to. All right, that out of the way, my conscience is clear. Let's go. All right, so this is going to be the official technical specs of the F2 Ultra. There is a little bar down here at the bottom. You see that? It's kind of moving. That's how long this is going to be. So if you're not interested in this, maybe you already know all the tech specs because you are binge watching that content on this machine, use it to skip ahead. So this is the xTool F2 Ultra. It is being advertised as the world's first 60-watt MOPA 40-watt diode dual laser. It is designed for small businesses because the F2 Ultra helps you make more money by delivering greater efficiency and smarter workflows to supercharge your creativity and production. At least that's what xTool says. Some of the key features and benefits of this machine is that it does have a 60-watt MOPA and a 40-watt blue diode laser built in one. If you're familiar with the F1 Ultra, it's kind of a similar setup. You have an infrared and a diode, but with the F2 Ultra, that infrared is now a MOPA, and that diode has been double sized to 40 watts. If you don't know what MOPA is, let me read a paragraph to you because honestly, it's hard for me to remember the phrase and then basically what it means. MOPA stands for Master Oscillator Power Amplifier. That's right, how could I not remember that? It's so easy. Basically what it allows is for precise control over pulse frequency and duration of the laser on an object. So in addition to your speed, your power, you now have pulse frequency and duration. All of these four combined in a special orientation basically gives you the Captain Planet version of a laser, enabling you to cut or emboss or mega engrave a lot of advanced materials. Things such as metal, brass, stone, you can obliterate it. And as you'll see in my video, I do that. Also, with the control over pulse and frequency, you have the ability to colorize stainless steel. I will also show you that in this video. So that is what sets MOPA apart from just a regular infrared laser. It operates on the same light wavelength. It is an IR laser, but you have the functionality or control over the frequency and pulse to let you mope around in your shop. To compare the F2 Ultra with the F1 Ultra, there are a lot of similarities. So here are the differences. The F2 Ultra has that 60-watt MOPA 40-watt diode, whereas the F1 Ultra has the 20-watt fiber or infrared and a 20-watt diode. So that F2 Ultra, your infrared, 3 times the power with MOPA capabilities. That diode, twice the power. Very cool. Another difference is in the maximum engraving speed. The F2 Ultra goes 15,000 millimeters per second. That's a very important thing to note. As you're shopping around with lasers, a company will use the trick of making a big number appear fast, but they'll put it in tiny little letters, millimeters per minute. Millimeters per minute, you want to ignore. That's trickery. Millimeters per second is the industry standard, of which the F2 Ultra cranks it out at 15,000 of those millimeters per second, and the F1 Ultra only did at to 10,000 millimeters per second. So the F2 Ultra, if my math is right, 50% faster as far as max engraving speed. Another benefit of the F2 Ultra is that its maximum metal cutting ability is advertised as 2mm thick brass. I don't get to test that in today's video because I'm on a time crunch, but I do have a 2mm thick sheet plate of brass I purchased just to test that out, and I promise I'll do that in a future video. On the other hand, the F1 Ultra was only able to go through 0.4mm of brass thickness. So we're about 5 times more powerful, or I guess we can go through 5 times thicker brass with the F2 Ultra. The built-in camera was one of the best features of the F1 Ultra when it came out, and the F2 Ultra just takes it and makes it better because now they have 2 cameras built in. I don't know that I really saw this a whole lot as I did my small project with this video, but they do exist, and I know I'll get to them as I get my hands deeper into the machine in the future. The last thing on the differences list here, it may appear small at first mention, but this is actually something that when I found out, I got really excited about. In the F2 Ultra, the fan in the back, so the built-in fan for fume extraction, is removable. There's a little door in the back that flips down. You can pull the module out, which removes the entire fan all at once. This makes cleanup or replacement super easy. This also allows someone like me to just remove it and not put it back, because I love to run my lasers hooked up to my 6-inch high flow fume extraction system, and in that instance, a fan, even as powerful as it may want to be, is a bottleneck in my airflow and just collects stuff to get dirtier sooner. Now, xTool Creative Space will let you run with the fan removed, so that's awesome. It will give you a little pop-up saying, but you can keep on going down the road, which I totally did throughout this video. Okay, still with me? Because yeah, that was kind of blah stuff. I guess you could say that. Maybe not. These are things that I would want to know, so hey, I shared them. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the projects that I did with this machine. And for this, I'm going to roll the footage. I don't know if it's gonna be beautiful bean footage, but it'll be footage. And I will talk to you as that footage rolls, giving you information. Right, let's double dip the chip of content. You will see and hear to ingest it twice as fast. All right, big safety disclaimer here, because the F2 Ultra is a very, very safe machine out of the box. That lid, the enclosure, super good. It overlaps your base. It has ports inside for your accessories to plug up and everything close up, so it is a super safe machine. However, in the interest of getting content for you, sticking cameras and lights up in that machine's business, I had to run it with the lid open. That is not recommended. Do not do that. I hated it. I didn't like running it that way, but I had to for the content for you all. So as you watch this video, as you see things, realize that I'm running it in a way that you should not be. And I'm also using it in a way that I never do when I'm not running a camera. Okay, safety Sally aside, let's talk about some projects. First up is going to be metal coin engraving, because who doesn't know about metal coin engraving at this point? Me. Right, this is the first time I've done it. Shame, shame, we know your name. Well, it is what it is. So first thing I tried was a cheap metal coin from Amazon and thought, hey, let's run a depth map through this guy. Let's see if we can engrave it. Well, in order to find that depth map, I could have purchased some AI credits within xTool Creative Space to use their AI generation for images, or gone to YouTube, found my good buddy Justin Laser's video where he talks about metal coin engraving, and he gives a free XCS file with it. So I'll put a link to his video down below. If you want a coin file, go for it. So I loaded that up into the machine, I loaded up the cheap Amazon coin, and rocked and rolled. Well, quickly I found out that the machine, being the F2 Ultra, whereas his file was designed for the F1 Ultra, was way powerful. In addition to that, the cheaper metal coin was not solid brass like he showed and like most people use. So that meant I went almost through that entire coin in no time flat. That was pretty much a failure. I then got a brass coin, a legit 100% brass coin, ran the same file while dialing that speed up a little bit to account for the power differences between the F1 and F2. Overall, I had no issues, and as you can see, it engraved wonderfully. Now I will tell you this, when you see videos like this, I'm speeding it up to not make you sit through the whole process. But you need to realize this is very much sped up footage, and you probably won't hear this talked about a lot, but this coin took 3.5 hours. That's crazy. That is an insane amount of time that I don't feel like gets communicated that much to viewers or to people. And when you see it go quick on camera, you're thinking, awesome, this is gonna be quick. I could do challenge coins in like 20 minutes. Sorry, that's not the case. That gets into other questions about, is this a profitable model? How can you make coins and sell them for money? And that's totally not the subject of this particular video. If you're curious about that, then you want to hear what my take is on it, let me know. Maybe I'll put that video together for you guys. Anyway, the coin worked out great. It did phenomenal, and a little bit of cleanup with a Dremel with a stainless steel wire brush on the end made that rooster coin shine like you're behind, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to find words. Continuing down this embossing road that was already on, I thought, let's throw some slate in there and see what happens. Surely if the machine will do solid brass, it won't have a problem doing solid slate. Well, it didn't. I loaded up a little 4-inch drink coaster, hooked up my ventilation, loaded up a different depth map image. This is one I got from a website through AI generation. Pretty basic stuff. Just grayscale it, load it in, and rock and roll. This one didn't take as long. I feel like the total engrave time for this one was somewhere around an hour and a half. But what you can see here is that me guessing at settings, because the machine is so new, they're not really built in XCS, meant that I didn't know where to go. And I ended up going completely through that coaster. When I noticed this, it was pretty much too late to try and save it. So what I decided to do was let the file play out. Maybe I would have a cool little figurine of a cat being chased by a UFO with a rock border around it. I didn't know. I almost had that, but the rock was fragile and it basically fell apart. But hey, that concept is there, and it definitely makes me want to think about this and play around with it some more as far as 3D engraving stone for either this application or maybe a really like little pop-up figure in a frame or something along those lines. It's cool to know that this exists, and being about an hour and a half long, it was a lot quicker than doing the brass coin. All right, color engraving with stainless. I know this is probably what you're here for. This is what a lot of people are seeing with MOPA. That's what we always put together, MOPA, color, go. So here's my experience with colorizing with stainless. So there's a Van Gogh picture. This is one that xTool provided in the file kit with the machine to test and run with the stainless steel that comes with the machine. I decided to run this on a stainless steel business card to see how it went because I didn't want to ruin the larger plate of stainless in the event something was wrong. This little image you're seeing is approximately 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters, and the total engraving time for this was over 3.5 hours. Again, that's an insanely long amount of time. You're not going to understand it unless someone tells you, like I'm telling you. When you see the video clip and you got the fast little line cruising downtown, you got the color look, you're like, man, flipping sweet. That's 3.5 hours spent. So just know that this takes time. Outside of that, obviously you can see the colors, and it's really cool. There's also a color material test grid that xTool provides that I ran on a different sheet of stainless steel to kind of get some ideas for settings. That worked out good. That's nice. Hopefully that's something they're going to provide to everyone, by the way. Actually, I wonder if I can just give it away. If I'm allowed to give it away, it's in the description down below. Basically, that test file gave me the speeds and power settings for color results. I took those, picked my colors, plopped them into a notepad just for notes on my computer, and I went ahead and loaded up some files to try and get some colored results. As far as the colorized results, it's very subjective on how the light hits it as to what colors you see, how predominant they are, or if they're even visible. It is very subjective, and it's something that, as you're seeing here, I wanted to illustrate so you can know that the colors you see in a still image are like the best possible outcome. You can rotate it and twist it, and you'll lose that cool effect. So I think it's very important to realize that the colorization of stainless is from a certain perspective. It is there. It's not like it's fake. It's there, but only a certain way. You got to hold your head just right. All right, with the colorized stainless and the embossing and everything done, I then thought, I wonder how well this machine will do with rust removal on a random tool. So I went to my toolbox and quickly found a rusty wrench, plopped it under there, and just ran a generic rectangle cleaning pass, I guess you could say, and it worked really well. So I've seen some videos here and there on social media of like rust removing and things like that. I'm sure that the F1 Ultra will do this as well. I'm not saying this is only for the F2 Ultra, but it was a piece of cake, went really quickly, And I could see doing this to some of my other tools. So I don't know, is that something awesome? Is it a selling point for you? Just wanted to let you know it's something I did and roll the footage of something I did. Outside of the world of MOPA and the awesome sauce of the F2 Ultra, the next thing I did was something that honestly can be done with a wide variety of machines. I just decided to try it with this one while I was in there. I grabbed one of the sheets of the black laser paper that comes with the machine that actually I think a lot of machines come with, plopped it in there, loaded up an AI generated grayscale image, remembered to invert it so it engraved properly, and ran it. As you can see here, it's a grumpy looking cat in a Renaissance king outfit. Don't ask me why I came up with that one. But as soon as I had old Grumpy the Aristocat, I figured, you know what? While I engraved it with a frame, it really needs a real frame, and decided that was a perfect time to test out the F2 Ultra's abilities for engraving and cutting wood. For this, I used the default settings within xTool Creative Space, and they worked fine. And the material that I was using is a cheaper quality wood, and that xTool F2 being a 40 watt, definitely obliterated my top veneer. So it didn't engrave it so much as it just removed material. So I should have scaled that one down a little bit, but otherwise it cut through it, no problem, single pass, and was great. A little bit of sandpaper and a little bit of super glue later, and we have the Aristocat framed up. And honestly, I think my two sons are gonna be fighting over who gets it, although I want that guy in my shop. Either way, just wanted to show you guys that yes, this machine does basic normal things and works very well at it too. Now, one big thing, if you're not sure or don't realize, with Galvo lasers, which are the lasers where the head doesn't move, it uses mirrors to do this. Whenever you're cutting, that mirror goes at angles. You will get angled cuts. You also don't have an air assist with Galvo lasers, so they're not generally recommended for cutting. They can totally be done, right? I just did it, but it's not generally the best machine for that. So if you're looking to cut, I would point you towards something like the xTool P2, P2S, the CO2 gantry style machine, where the laser itself moves around. Okay, it's a laser head with a CO2, but moves around, gets perfect perpendicular cuts, and has a built-in air assist. While the F2 Ultra is advertised as being able to cut through 2mm thick brass, I didn't have that with me today to work on, but I did have the 0.4 or 0.2mm brass sheet that comes with the machine. Well, I decided to put it to the test. I loaded it up, put in the default settings in xTool Creative Space, dropped in an SVG of a butterfly, and sent it. Well, guess what? It totally cut through it. Now, did it cut through 100%? No, but it was probably like 99%. There was a little bit of slag, I believe is what it really is. As it's getting cut, it kind of melts back into itself. There's a little bit of that left over, so there's a tiny little bit of cleanup, you know, wiggle, 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 pull the piece apart, clean out the little holes in the middle, and then the last thing I did was try to hit it with some sandpaper. That kind of wasn't going anywhere, so I grabbed my Dremel with a stainless steel wire brush on the end and polished it right up. And I gotta say, it looks really cool. I have no clue what I'm gonna do with this butterfly. See if my wife wants it, I guess. To me, right offhand, it reminds me of the old school Christmas ornaments, at least from my childhood. The brass ones, you used to get those and get them engraved, or maybe my family did, nobody else in the world did. But either way, that's where my mind just went. I'm like, wow, you would have the ability to cut and then engrave your own brass ornaments with this machine. Huh. And overall, it didn't take that long. This butterfly had a ton of cutouts, and it was right at 24 minutes long. Not bad. Not bad at all when we compare it to the brass coin. Yeah. All right, you guys still with me? Because my goodness, that was a lot of stuff to throw at you. Hopefully you are here, still alive. If not, wake up. Video's almost over. You got another one to watch. All right, so my final thoughts of the F2 Ultra. It is, first of all, a very nice looking machine. I really like the black and silver color scheme. I love that the lid is a framed lid, so it's not just plastic or acrylic like the F1 or the F1 Ultra. This one has some frames to it, it's got some heft, and it's not flimsy. Very nice. I also like that it is a really, really safety conscious laser, being that the lid goes down over top of the base, but it keeps the ports inside, so your accessories plug up inside and you're good to go. Another thing I like is that removable fan, because I love it, right? Who wouldn't love it? If you've ever had a laser and you had to clean your fan, or your fan got gummed up, or you had to replace it, you will know why Sam really likes the fan being deletable. So cool, awesome xTool. I don't know if you intended for people to do that, but the people are doing it, and the people thank you for it. And I guess the last thing that I could say that I like is that the lights inside of the machine are even brighter than the F1 Ultra, and they have control over the front and back lights. So that's cool, especially from a video standpoint or just basic everyday usage. So guys, that's been a look at the F2 Ultra, at least in the limited time that I've had this machine in my shop, which has been about a week to a week and a half. If you got questions or comments, leave them for me down below. I have future content planned with this machine, but I want to make that content more business to business related, or a small business type video. I don't want to do more reviews or anything like that. So if you have questions from a business perspective, let me know. I'll add it to my list, and who knows, maybe it'll become a dedicated video in the near future. As always, there will be a link to the machine down below if you want to check it out. That is an affiliate link, so if you click it and you decide to buy it, it does give me a little bit of a commission for sending you, a customer, to xTool. It doesn't cost anything extra for you, and by all means, feel free to omit that step if you don't want to, but just know it is an affiliate link, and that's what it will do. Basically, yeah. Otherwise, take care, and I'll see you guys next time in the workshop.